scenery that I've never filmed in before, and you know how much I love a new fresh backdrop. This is actually my at-home office, which I never ever sit in here anymore now that I have an actual office that I go to, so it's kind of pleasant to sit in here. I gotta show you guys how much equipment is in here right now just to make this look so casual. The amount of work that goes in to just like a quick little YouTube video is so over the top and ridiculous.
Okay, pause. I know you're not seeing my face right now, but I'm just letting you guys know I am still here. This is me post-editing only because in the beginning of this video when I was in my car, there was a lot of static with the microphone, and I just didn't want it to be annoying and a distraction to the video. So I'm gonna use this part to introduce myself if you have not met me before. So hi everyone, my name is Malcolm. I am a YouTuber that does a lot of commentary, things like that. And today we are going to be focusing on Jaclyn Hill. Now, when I do cut back to me in the car, you're going to be hearing me talk about the lipsticks. But I think it's all fair that we should start from the beginning and just introduce everyone to who Jaclyn Hill is, just so we're all on the same page. Now, Jaclyn Hill is a YouTuber with 5.64 million subscribers on YouTube currently of me recording. Started her channel in 2011. 2017 she really blew up, and she's done collaborations with celebrities. She's launched her own brands, things of that nature. Now I do talk about the lipsticks because that is more to the point later, but just so you guys know, that's pretty much like the beginning of Jaclyn Hill. But we're not really going to be talking about Jaclyn Hill's life or anything like that. We're just going to be talking about not only some of the controversy surrounding her, but also like this whole better than everyone attitude that she seems to have. So without further ado, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you back at my car. If you need to know anything, I'll just bring up Lipstick Gate. And if you don't know what that is, pretty much Jaclyn Hill released these lipsticks. There was like fuzzies in them, there was hair in them, they were moldy. Jaclyn Hill came out in a video, said a bunch of things, but it really amounted to nothing because this independent research that she apparently paid $100,000 for, I believe, nobody heard the results of that, and she's never talked about it really since. And if she does talk about the lipstick thing, she talks about it in a way that's like she's upset that people keep bringing it up, but in a way it's like, hey, if you just talk about it, people will stop talking about it. Does that make sense? So if you don't know who Jaclyn Hill is, you've probably heard of the lipstick thing at least, because that's like the thing she's probably most known for. Sorry, Jaclyn, that's just the honest truth. But why am I talking about? So a couple months ago, Jaclyn Hill released this loungewear, like clothing company, whatever you want to call it. She called it Cozy.
Okay, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I don't know what I'm titling this video yet, but I'm sure you guys know what this is. I am revealing my brand new brand, Cozy. Just saying it out loud feels so good. I know I say this about everything, but you guys, I've been working on this brand for so long that when I launched Jaclyn Roxanne, when I launched my jewelry line a year ago, so many of you guys guessed that it was going to be a brand like this. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I could tell them, because at that time, I was already like neck deep in sampling and trying on all different things for this brand. But I was like, oh my God, like they know me so well. They know that this is what I want to do. But at the time it was jewelry, right? So it's like, it's all coming together. Okay.
And the reason why that's a big deal is because there was another YouTuber slash content creator that already kind of had the name Cozy, has been building up the brand for 5 years, to the point where this creator reached out to Jaclyn Hill and was like, hey, you know, this is my brand. I've been working on this, you know, for a long time. Could you please reconsider changing the name? So instead of Jaclyn Hill, you know, being a boss CEO, as she so claims to be, she just kind of ignored it. And this not only pissed off a lot of like non-Jaclyn Hill fans, it also pissed off a lot of her own fans, to the point where her own fans were kind of calling it out, which, as far as standums go, I'm actually surprised that a lot of her own fans did call her out about this. But even then, I've noticed that Jaclyn Hill is this type of person where if she ignores it long enough, people will forget. or she ignores it long enough, like it must not exist kind of thing, to the point where if people start bringing it up even now, she's gonna go on a tangent about how people are bullying her and that, you know, everybody's so negative, blah blah blah, which just isn't the case. It's just more so like, hey, you stole somebody's brand name and then called it your own. And then I do remember this part, and if I do find the clip, I'll probably put it in here. I remember in the video she was like, oh my god, we went through so many names and like this name was so perfect, blah blah blah.
So as you guys have obviously seen, or maybe you haven't, but on Instagram I have teased, I've shown a few little sneak peeks here and there. My new brand is called Cozy. You have no idea how hard it was to name this brand. We probably went through 50 names, everything was taken, everything was trademarked. Oh my gosh, we even came up with words, like created words that isn't even a real word, and they were still taken and still trademarked. I was like, are you kidding me? Like everything's been thought of. It was not easy.
And I'm just kind of sitting there like, Google exists for a reason, because with a quick Google search of Cozy, you would find the original Cozy brand that's no longer existing, because I believe, and I'm blanking on her name right now, that's why I keep not saying her name. She pretty much put out a statement saying she's gonna move in a different direction with her apparel or whatever she said, which kind of sucks because again, Jaclyn Hill just kind of swooped in, took over her name, and I think Jaclyn Hill copyrighted the name, so it just turned into a whole thing of who would win the legal battle. And I think because this creator is a little bit smaller than Jaclyn, she just kind of said, I'm gonna take the L, I'm gonna move on. So a lot of people were upset that basically Jaclyn Hill just kind of pushed this other creator out the way and just did like the ludicrous move B, get out the way, that kind of thing. I think what bothers me about that, by the way, is just how it's not that Jaclyn Hill is unbothered, by the way. I don't want to say she's unbothered because she is bothered. That's why she always goes on tangents about how everybody's so negative and mean to her, when all everybody wants is just some answers and accountability for the things she's doing, which I think is fair. I think what bothers me about Jaclyn Hill is that she reads the comments in her videos, she reads the comments on her Instagram, she reads all those comments because she's always reacting to comments. So I'm pretty sure she knows that, you know, Cozy wasn't her idea, but she's gonna act like, you know, she didn't see it, because again, if you don't acknowledge it, if you don't, you know, make it known, then it didn't happen. The whole I didn't do anything wrong attitude just kind of rubs me the wrong way, because it's just kind of like, I don't know, it just feels like if you're a boss CEO, one of the few things you should know how to do is use Google. So that's where, in my opinion, this kind of whole thing starts. Yes, the lipstick thing, yes, it happened years ago, but people still bring it up because why? Because Jaclyn Hill just kind of acts like, you know, people should be over it by now. But it's also like, from my understanding, she doesn't really have successful launches. And of course, somebody's going to be like, well, you're focusing on the negative, but it's like, well, not really. If you're a business person and you keep having these issues, but you never address them, and then you move on to the next venture saying like, this is the best thing I've ever created, all this nonsense, eventually the trust with that business person should go down, and it will go down. That's just how it should work, and that's always how it's been. If I go to McDonald's, you know, for a straight month, right? So the first day, eat the food, it's fine. The second day I go back, the food's just a little bit but I'm like, okay, I'll give it another chance, because the first time it was good. And then the third day I just have a bad experience, like the food was nasty, blah blah blah. So then I go to email McDonald's like, hey, McDonald's, my food was terrible. Is there anything you can do to reconcile this situation? McDonald's ignores me, so I go back the fourth day. And then on the fourth day, I'm like, you know what? McDonald's really hit it first, but now it's not hitting. I'll try it one more time to see if I like it. And then the fourth time, guess what? It's a little bit okay again. So you're just like, okay, I'm good. And this is kind of like how Jaclyn Hill goes. Like, she'll have a decent launch, and then it'll be trickle, trickle, trickle. Oh, there's an issue. Ignore. Next venture. Oh, this venture started off pretty good. Trickle, trickle, trickle. And then it's like, bam, another issue. and then it just wash, rinse. Pretty much Jaclyn Hill ignored it. I'm almost 1,000% sure she's seen the comments about the cozy thing, like, hey, this other content creator had this first and you just kind of stole it from her. Can you address this? Of course, Jaclyn Hill doesn't address it, and she loses a lot of fans. We'll get to the fans thing because she brings up numbers down the road eventually. So weeks go by, and something I did notice from Jaclyn Hill especially is she loves to post material things a lot, which, just want to make this clear, if you like material things, that is 1000% okay. If you like a nice Dior bag, if you like Michael Kors, if you like all those luxury kind of brands, if you like to show off your Bugatti, if you have one, perfectly fine, right? But I think why the Jaclyn Hill seems so unrelatable is the fact that she tries to be like you guys, like, yeah, blah blah blah, and like she just comes off as someone that wants to be relatable so bad, but nothing about her. Say you're in high school and you were that student in class that just kind of like got by, did their thing, me. You're like, you did your thing, you got by. Cheerleader, she's pretty cool, she does her thing. She always gets straight A's. Her parents are stupid rich. You'll say something like, I would say something like, oh, I'm having a really bad day. And then I'll say this whole thing about how my day is bad. And then the cheerleader would go, yeah, I had a bad day too. My shoes didn't match. And then it's just kind of like we're not the same, queen. It's fine. Like, a big deal to her may not be the same big deal to somebody. For me, Jaclyn Hill just seems like she really wants to be this person that's like, again, just wants to be like, come off so relatable, and yet it's not there. It's like there's a disconnect because she's showing off all these expensive things, and remember, the cozy thing still a thing. So all these people were like, hey, Jaclyn, are you going to address this? Jaclyn, are you going to address that? Jaclyn, what about the necklace that turned my neck green? What about all this? You'll see Jaclyn Hill go on a rant saying, I had to block and delete people because people are so mean. People are going to be mean to influencers no matter what. That's just a given. Like, we can say in a perfect world, that shouldn't be a thing. They just want answers, dude. Like, if somebody needs answers and then your first inclination is to just be like, oh, you're blocked, goodbye, I have no problems here, and then try to act like your world is so perfect, that's really just gonna rub people the wrong way. So it's like having your cake and eating it too, where it's just like she wants to act like, you know, she's not hurt by all these things, she doesn't see all these things, but then she'll turn around and be like, everybody's so mean to me, like, I don't know why people just won't leave me alone. Like, it's like, just address things and then people would leave you alone. I think that would be best. Just address it. For instance, with the cozy thing, if Jaclyn Hill just came out and said, yeah, I knew she had it, but it was a copywritten, so I took it anyway. At that point, what can you say? She said she did it. She said she was aware of it. She copyrighted it. Like, what can you say at that point? You just move on. I think also another thing is, Jaclyn doesn't want to be seen as this mean girl. Giving all the things she does and the way she acts, it's all mean girl behavior. So remember, the cozy thing was still a thing. You got to remember that, because like, I think it plays into everything else that happens. So a couple weeks ago, I think I saw Dustin Dailey. He tweeted something about this TikToker who I think her name is Mikayla. It could be Mikayla. I'm really blanking on the name right now. But all you need to know is that this TikToker influencer is a really, really big supporter of Jaclyn Hill. If I find the tweet, I'll put it up on the screen somewhere over here, maybe. Basically, Dustin was talking about nothing to do with Jaclyn Hill. That's all you need to know. It had nothing to do with Jaclyn Hill. I was really confused when I saw Jaclyn Hill just kind of, you know, coming at Dustin Dailey. And then she threw something about her ex-husband in there, which
So basically, what happened was Jaclyn Hill responded to my tweet and said this. Let me pull it up really quickly. I am so beyond mad. It is beyond literally measure. So what Jaclyn Hill said to me is, "You're just so mean, Dustin. You're making excuses to be awful to someone who doesn't deserve it. He's a recovering addict and doesn't need people posting about him for views. I watched gossip channels such as yourself hurt my ex and continue to repeat the cycle. Grow up." See, and this right here proves that Jaclyn Hill is a manipulator. Because one, myself, I never said about anybody's sobriety. Rich never said anything about his sobriety. Mikayla Nogueira is the one that injected that into the conversation. Mikayla Nogueira is to blame for people talking about Cody's sobriety if they're talking about it, because one, I never knew about Cody's sobriety. In all of the videos, the like 3 or 4 videos that I've made about Mikayla, I've never spoken about Cody, because you know what? I'm not here to talk about Cody. Cody is not the point of the videos when I talk about Mikayla. She's not. And the amount of likes and retweets that this like "you're so mean" tweet got, it literally makes me sick, because people don't even know the shit that Jaclyn Hill has done, right? So if you're not supposed to talk about someone's sobriety, Jaclyn, why did you call John a junkie?
Living on food stamps, and John was a junkie, like...
Really big accusation you're throwing in there. I think that's crazy. I'm sorry. Like, I'm all about, I'm really sorry about your ex-husband. Like, I really am. But I think Peter Monn said it best. Peter Monn caught this. A lot of drama channels caught this. Like everybody talked about it. But Peter Monn pretty much said, like, where's the evidence that we talked about your husband negatively like that? We would love to see the evidence. And it's been weeks since Jaclyn Hill put that out there, and there has still been no evidence of drama channels like dragging her ex-husband.
Then for no reason whatsoever, she throws out this recovery thing and says that he's a great person, which I think that that's fantastic, like I said, okay? She outs the ex-girlfriend and says all this stuff about her, which she didn't need to do, which I think is horrible, and I stand by that. Then Dustin Dailey says, if you're going to say, like you're going to put him on social media, you don't have a right to do that, and then say you can't talk about him, okay? Wait, which is true. I totally 100% believe that statement. Then Jaclyn Hill inserts herself and says, Dustin, you're just mean. You're just mean. Leave this girl alone. Leave it, girl. She has a social media public figure with millions of followers that is making unbelievable money, and she is trying to dictate what people talk about. She didn't have a problem with E-News talking about her. She probably was calling all of her friends and being like, girl, I'm on the E-News. Look at me on the E-News. Oh my God, they're talking about us on the E-News, okay? No, it was only when her fiance's ex started coming out that she had an issue with Rich Lux. That's what it's all about, okay? And then Jaclyn inserts herself into it. And then Jaclyn brings up the whole John situation. And so then you get all these people on Reddit threads hating on drama channels, saying that drama channels have talked horribly about Jaclyn and John and all this kind of stuff for years. No, we haven't. There's no truth to that, and Jaclyn can't prove it. And now what's Jaclyn doing? Oh, her Instagram story, her on a treadmill or working out or something like that, acting like she never put it out. Girl, double down on your statement and come out and prove what you had to say. If you're going to make a statement like that and you're going to do something that is so damaging that you're going to come for drama channels, and this is the thing. I got a comment. Hold on, this is going to stop. I got a statement and a comment on my video, and somebody said, and this is a fair question, they said, so let me get this right. Drama channels can talk about influencers, but influencers can't talk about drama channels. I have no problem with influencers talking about drama channels, okay? Talk about drama channels all you want. But make sure when you talk about us, you talk about us with facts. Because when we talk about, I don't know about anybody else. I can only talk about Peter Monn. And I'm talking about myself in the third person. But when Peter Monn talks about drama channels, or talks about influencers, Peter Monn brings the facts. I bring the receipts. I base my videos on receipts. I wouldn't make a video if there weren't any receipts. Now, do I speculate from time to time that Jeffree Star might be naming his 4 camels? But yes, it's a joke. It's humor. It's entertainment. We know that. Okay? But when I'm talking about Kaylin Nicholson and how she had to put down her brand because it was too close to what Jaclyn Hill's brand is called. And I talked about her statements, and I looked at her videos that she was put in there, and I read the statement that Kayla Nicholson would put out. No, girl, those are called facts. Those are called receipts. Those are things that can prove the statements that I am making. Unlike Jaclyn saying that drama channels talked horribly about John for years. Girl, where's the receipts on that? Where is it?
People were really confused about, what to believe anymore. Of course, the Jaclyn Hill stands see this and they are just like bombarding everyone saying, you guys are hateful. How dare you? Don't you ever talk about somebody's sobriety like that? And the sobriety in question was this Mikayla. I think her name is Mikayla. Is this Mikayla girl's boyfriend? And a lot of drama channels pulled it up, the receipt of how this Mikayla girl already talked about her boyfriend's sobriety in an article or whatever. So it was quickly pointed out like, hey, you're okay with this article talking about your boyfriend's sobriety, but Rich Lux, who originally started off this whole shebang-a-bang, because he posted a video with Mikayla's boyfriend's ex, and because he made a video about her, I think this Mikayla girl got really upset. It gave off a little bit of jealousy energy, it gave off a little bit of bitterness energy, pretty much saying, Rich Lux more like Rich sucks, which, come on, you're 24 and that's the best you can come up with. Okay. Dustin Dailey made a tweet. Jaclyn Hill jumped on it, even though Jaclyn Hill's name was not in it at all. So I don't know how she found the tweet, or she was actively looking for things to go off on, but she did. She found it. She went off. And it was just kind of weird timing because a lot of beauty influencers do this all the time, apparently, like the top ones that we all see, like the Jeffree Star, the James Charles, all that. So it's been brought to everybody's attention that Jaclyn Hill actually has a launch, and it looks like a powder. I don't know makeup that well, but I do know that Jaclyn Hill did release a video that she was gonna have on launch, and I'm just kind of like, okay, did you stir up all this stuff just to bring attention to you so you could push a product? Because if so, I think that's a little bit disgusting. Of course, people are going to say, let her grieve in her own way. But again, the drama channel she accused of contributing to her ex, they're all saying that we never made videos about him, we never talked badly about him. And I do remember that when Jaclyn Hill's ex-husband passed, that a lot of the channels were very sympathetic and were just kind of like, hey Jaclyn, I'm really sorry. Sending loves and prayers. That's what I saw. Now, if somebody wants to say, well, it really didn't happen like that, feel free to correct me, but I'm just going by what I saw, and what I saw at the time was a lot of love and support. Another couple weeks go by, and the whole Jaclyn Hill calling out the drama channels thing hasn't stopped. It actually went on until this week. And this is why I brought up the numbers thing earlier, because she mentioned something about if you have 8 million followers, then you can talk to me, blah, blah, blah. But I did find this one comment in her replies, and it was from 2 days ago, basically calling her out saying, how about you don't buy your followers? And I was just like, yep. Because you can actually go to Jaclyn Hill's Instagram right now and look at her followers list. If you go to her followers list, it's all brand new accounts or fake accounts. You'll probably see a real account like every 100 to 200, maybe one real account to every 500 fake accounts. So far from what I saw when I was looking it up. So she got called out for buying followers, and she was like, I've never bought a follower in my life. But Jaclyn Hill also has a team, she says. So maybe someone on her social media team, if she does have one, was kind of like, hey, I'm going to buy some followers for Jaclyn, make it look good. Because you have to combat that you're losing followers. And this is why I also brought up the cozy thing, because a lot of Jaclyn Hill stans and fans were just kind of like, I'm out. Jaclyn, I loved you, but this is kind of it for me because what you did was scummy. I don't think it's fair that you just kind of took this creator's whole thing, made it your own, and acted like you came up with the idea on your own. Clearly you didn't, because when we looked in Google, hers was the first thing that came up, all this stuff. So I can only imagine that Jaclyn Hill was losing followers to the point where someone on her team was like, we have to make this look like she's not losing because we really need to make this look good. So I think she bought followers. I think she's very aware that a lot of the newer accounts that are following her are fake. I don't think Jaclyn Hill is dumb by any like sort of standard. I think she is I think she's like scarily smart when it comes to these kind of things. And really, nobody's really talked about that part. I think Jaclyn Hill's very savvy and smart when it comes to controlling the narrative, because she knows the things she needs to say to get people on her side, which is, of course, manipulation. Like it's very prevalent that all she needs to do is say a couple trigger words, and then all of a sudden it's just like, bam, all these stands come out of the wilderness and just attack anyone that has any type of criticism, right? I want to talk about this last thing, and this last thing's fairly new, but also it did bother me a lot because, again, it just shows how like unbecoming Jaclyn Hill really is. So there was this Instagram story of Jaclyn Hill with this cat, and just to make everything clear, Jaclyn Hill says she is deathly allergic to cats. So Jaclyn Hill is posting this story about this cat, but the cat is outside. She said something along the lines of, you know, this cat's been following me for a week. And I think the next thing I remember is the cat being outside in a cardboard box. Now, Jaclyn Hill, I think, lives in Florida, so the weather was not forgiving for, you know, animals like cats and dogs, like especially stray cats and dogs. I think it was 33 degrees that night that people saw this Instagram story, and a lot of people were upset because it's just kind of like, hey Jaclyn, you're a millionaire, but you're keeping this cat outside in a cardboard box. Isn't it a little inhumane? Maybe you should take it to a shelter. All these things, right? And this kind of this kind of made me want to make a video, like in a rant video kind of way. And I'm sorry that this is all over the place, y'all. Like, this is my first video back, but I really wanted to talk about this because I have 2 cats myself, and like, I love them to death. If I find a suitable photo, I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But I just can't imagine leaving my cats outside for even a day. It just doesn't feel right to me. But Jaclyn Hill addressed it, saying she deleted the story because people were so negative and all this stuff. And it's just kind of like, come on, bro. Like, you're upset because people are calling you out because you're wrong. Like, it just sounds so contrived and dumb to me. I'm sorry. Like, you're that upset because you're leaving a cat outside when you're definitely allergic to cats. Now, it's been alleged, I didn't find the video or proof of this, but people were saying Jaclyn Hill was like petting the cat, playing with the cat, things like that. But I'm like, if you're deathly allergic to cats, right, the last thing you want to do is pet it. So is Jaclyn Hill allergic to cats, or is she just saying she's deathly allergic to cats to keep the cat outside? Or, like, I know she has dogs, so she tried to be like, oh, well, my dogs might hurt the cat and blah, blah, blah. But everybody's like, yo, take it to a shelter, which I fully agree. Take this cat to a shelter. just take the cat somewhere, dude. But keeping it outside, and it's like cold as hell outside, I think that's a little like messed up. I think that's not okay. And then Jaclyn Hill just going, everybody's so mean about it, everybody's so negative about it, just kind of shows this disconnect that it's just like Jaclyn Hill's there, but she's not there. It's like she doesn't get it. That's what bothered me a lot. That's what inspired me to like just rant about Jaclyn Hill, because I've never really made a video on her before, but I definitely have paid attention to the videos and the Twitter and the social media. I've definitely paid attention to everything around her, surrounding her. I also know that Jaclyn Cosmetics just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which means she's not going out of business. It's just the debt's gonna be kind of like moved to another person. That way they can stay in business. Because another big thing, I can't believe I missed this. Like, another big thing is Morphe, which is, I think there's like a meme about it now where Jaclyn Hill really loves Morphe. So Morphe has been sued a lot lately. All the stores in the US have closed down. I think there's still one active in Canada, but you can still shop online and stuff. Jaclyn Cosmetics was like, I think, partnered with Morphe or under a former brand or something like that. And I do remember people were asking Jaclyn Hill how she felt about it and how she felt about the stores closing down and people losing their jobs within days and not even really getting a severance package that's like, you know, anything. Like, it's probably gonna be gone within like 2 days because it was like that small and that pathetic. So instead of Jaclyn Hill coming out in a statement saying, you know, hey, I'm really sorry that all these people lost their jobs, blah, 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 like, my heart goes out to them, like, I'm praying for you guys, something, all she really had to say was that it made her sad that Morphe was closing, and she knows they're gonna do well online, which, I mean, okay. Like, no mention of the people that lost their jobs, no mention of, you know, hey, all the people that supported Morphe because of me, like, I'm really sorry that this happened. I'm sorry that people that work at the store now that probably support me, I'm sorry if you guys are going through a tough time. Like, none of that. And again, it's just like Jaclyn's here, but she's also not here, bro. It just speaks, again, I don't know what I'm going to title this. I think I'm going to title it The Unrelatable World of Jaclyn Hill, because she's not relatable. Like, she doesn't get it. And she's lived a privileged life for such a long time. She wasn't always privileged, so let me just make that clear. She was not always privileged. I think she became privileged after all of her success, and it just kind of reminds me of every YouTuber, every social media person that I've always seen. They start off humble, they start off okay, and it's just kind of like, how do I say it? Like, they start off good, they start off humble, and then the money gets to them, it gets to their head, and then all of a sudden they just become cocky and arrogant, and everything that they said they weren't gonna be, they become. And I think that's the saddest part. Is I feel like if Jaclyn Hill just would address things, you know, be more compassionate to others, because right now she's out for herself, which, I mean, that's pretty much the honest truth. She is out for herself. I'm sorry. I know a Jaclyn Hill stan is going to be like, you're talking 35 minutes of negativity. And you know what? That's cool, bro. That's cool. I'm just ranting and shucking and jabbing. It's really not that deep, bro. Because Jaclyn Hill don't even know me. She ain't gonna see this video. I do know she does watch the other drama channels because she's made comments about them. Obviously, she called out Dustin Dailey. She blocked the viewer's voice. Things of that nature. So she's very aware of drama channels existing. So she obviously knows what they're saying about her. I think the cozy thing, just to wrap this up, I think the cozy thing was like that big domino that started everything else. Like, it started off with that, but then it just kept going and going. And just like the lipstick thing, she really didn't address it. And then people are asking questions, and then it turns around to, oh, people are being mean. So it's just like, if you criticize Jaclyn Hill, you're mean because she's a nice person. And I think that's another video I'm gonna do soon, is like, why do we keep forgiving nice YouTubers? Because all they've done is the meanest things. So I really don't have much else to say. If this video was a little too chill, if it was a little too much, I apologize. But I just wanted to rant about Jaclyn Hill a bit because I really did notice the thing. And I think the cat thing did set me off a little bit. It did make me really upset because it's just kind of like, just take it to a shelter, bro. So that's all I have to say. Also, really didn't drink much of my coffee. I have 2 of these, by the way, and it's like 5 p.m. Yeah, so thanks for listening in if you made it this far. I'm not really going to be doing car things like this all the time, but I just feel like doing something a little bit different. I wanted to be outside for once. My house was a little bit messy, so I didn't feel like doing a video in there anyway. I say house, but I mean apartment. So yeah, thank you for listening. If you made it this far, once again, it's me, it's Malcolm. Subscription button is somewhere on the screen right now up here. And then I have 2 other videos over there that you can watch in your own free time. And without further ado, I wish you well. I wish you good health. And I will see you again next time.